Welcome back to another episode of the show. I'm your host, David Womack. Now let's dive right into some TV and movie news. In our first bit of news, a main cast member from the NBC show Night Court loses a main cast member, and for you Night Court fans, this could be huge. Night Court is losing a main cast member. The 2023 sitcom, which is set during the night shift at the Manhattan Criminal Court in a revival of the show of the same name that originally ran between 1984 and 1992. It follows Judge Abby Stone, played by Melissa Roach, taking her late father's position and finding herself surrounded by a group of colorful characters played by an ensemble cast. Kapil Talwalkar will not be returning as Abby's insecure clerk Neil for the Night Court Season 2. According to sources, the show's producers and cast are grateful to have had an opportunity to work with him, but they are focusing on having more of a revolving door of quirky characters in the upcoming seasons. Keep in mind that all of this is happening right after the Night Court Christmas special, and he wasn't on that episode either. Although he was only given one season in Night Court cast, Talwalkar could use the show as a springboard into another television role. The actor has already proven his ability to find new long-term roles, as his stint as Neil came shortly after the end of the NBC musical dramedy Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Although he doesn't have any officially announced television work lined up yet, Talwalkar already has a major independent project coming out, and the door may be open for Neil to possibly return for certain episodes of the Night Court revival. However, it remains to be seen if producers make the offer and if Talwalkar sees fit to return. The original Night Court was a TV comedy that ran for 9 seasons between 1984 and 1992. The series centers around Harry Anderson's character, Harry T. Stone, a presiding judge who works at the Night Court in Manhattan. That show aired before I was born, so I may have to go and check that out. It sounds pretty exciting, but the new revival, that sounds interesting as well. I'll definitely check that out. In our next bit of news, Adam Driver confirms that he is done with Star Wars. After playing Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, Adam Driver has confirmed that he is done with the Star Wars franchise. They're doing stuff, but not with me. I'm not doing it anymore. Now, Adam Driver did mention this in the Smartless podcast, so if you haven't checked out the podcast, go and check it out. But this is huge. When he was asked if this was because Kylo Ren's story had concluded, the actor responded, yeah. It's not entirely surprising to hear that Driver is leaving Star Wars behind, but you never know what the future may bring. Daisy Ridley is set to return for the new Star Wars movie, which takes place 15 years after the events of Rise of the Skywalker. The First Order has fallen, the Jedi are in chaos, there's even a question of how many exist anymore, and Rey's building the new Jedi Order based on the text that she was given and that Luke imparted in her, said Lucasfilm's president Kathleen Kennedy. If Adam Driver ever does return to Star Wars, it would likely be as a Force Ghost, which wouldn't have been possible if the sequel trilogy had stuck to the original plan of not redeeming his character. Adam Driver can currently be seen starring in Michael Mann's Ferrari. If you haven't seen Ferrari, go and check that movie out. It was a blast the whole way through. The story is engaging. The cinematography is beautiful. I could say so much. But as far as Adam Driver not returning to Star Wars, it's end of an era. He had the 3 movies. His story was technically over. So we really didn't expect him to continue anymore. And for him to confirm this, pretty much we all seen this coming. In our next bit of news, Lionsgate just acquires Entertainment One, and this acquisition is huge. Lionsgate has acquired certain assets of Entertainment One from Hasbro in a $500 million deal. Back in 2019, Hasbro acquired the entertainment company Entertainment One as part of a $4 billion all-cash transaction, aiming to become a major media contender by combining the company's film and TV unit with their own. But the pandemic disrupted that plan, and now Hasbro is more interested in becoming a digital gaming powerhouse. So Lionsgate has been able to acquire certain assets of Entertainment One from Hasbro in a $500 million deal. A press release let us know more about the acquisition. It adds 6,500 film and television titles to Lionsgate's library, one of the largest and most valuable in the world. Lionsgate CEO John Feltheimer had this to say: "The eOne acquisition concludes a busy year in which we continue to execute our strategy of strengthening our studio business as we prepare for the separation of Lionsgate and Starz into pure-play standalone companies. As we've conducted our integration planning, our analysis has reaffirmed our conviction that eOne will be a valuable and highly assertive addition to our business. We are pleased to welcome eOne's talented group of employees to our Lionsgate family." Now, it's important to note that there are a few movies that's excluded from this deal, like Peppa Pig or Transformers. Magic the Gathering, My Little Pony, Power Rangers, Play-Doh, and Clue are excluded from the Lionsgate eOne deal, as Hasbro maintains a compatibility to develop and produce animation, digital shorts, scripted TV, and theatrical films for audiences related to core Hasbro IP. One of the highlights of this purchase is that they actually own Monopoly. Yeah, crazy. What do you think about this Hasbro eOne acquisition? Tell me more in the comments below. In our next bit of news, it looks like the 4K remaster for The Abyss, the movie directed by James Cameron, it looks like it was canceled in the UK. The Abyss 4K release has been canceled in the UK because of the rat scene. Here's what the press release had to say: "We've learned that from industry sources that the 4K Ultra HD release of James Cameron The Abyss circa 1989 in the UK has been canceled, and for exactly the reason you think, the scene in which the rat is made to breathe underwater. UK censors asked for the scene to be cut. Disney apparently wanted to comply, but Lightstorm vetoed it. And if you want this title in 4K and you live in the UK, you'll have to import it from somewhere else." On the bright side, 4K discs are region free. UK censors wanted the scene to be cut despite the fact that the rats involved in the shooting of the scene weren't harmed. The Abyss is about a movie in an underwater sci-fi adventure written and directed by James Cameron. A nuclear sub mysteriously sinks and a private oil rig crew led by foreman Bud Brigman is recruited to join a team of Navy SEALs on a search and rescue effort. The group soon finds themselves in a spectacular life and death odyssey 25,000 feet below the ocean's surface. The film stars Ed Harris, and I'm a huge fan of Ed Harris. I don't necessarily remember too much of this movie, so that's why I want to watch it again. It sounds exciting. But for the UK to completely cancel the movie because of a rat scene, I gotta check this out and see what all the fuss is about. In our last bit of news, Gary Oldman from the Harry Potter movies, Sirius Black, well, he says that he was mediocre in that movie. Gary Oldman doesn't consider his work as the wizard Sirius Black in 3 of the Harry Potter films among his best acting performance. The actor told Josh Horowitz on the latest episode of the Happy Sad Confused podcast that he felt lukewarm about his performance of the villain turned hero in the film franchise based on J.K. Rowling's book series. "I think my work is mediocre in it," Oldman said. "No, I do. Maybe if I had read the books like Alan Rickman, who plays Professor Snape, if I'd got ahead of the curve, I'd have known what's coming. I honestly think I would have played it differently." As a huge fan of the Harry Potter book series and the Harry Potter fan series, that breaks my heart, because watching him for all those years, I was giving the assumption that he was putting his all into that character, and it made that character believable. But for him to kind of tell us what happened behind the scenes, that he gave a mediocre performance, that kind of breaks my heart. No, don't get me wrong. I get it. He's an actor. At the time, it was breathtaking. We believed it all. But for him to kind of reveal that at this time, it's a little troubling. Now that's all the TV and movie news we have for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on the latest TV and movie news stories. Also, hit that like button. Let the algorithm know that we're here and we're here to stay. As always, have a great day, everyone.